It's Saturday afternoon, Saturday lunchtime. I hope everybody is well. It's a glorious day here in Bradford Haven. I won't get Molly to show that up there because all the washing's on the line, but it's a glorious day. It's a glorious day. It's weekends, so we're not doing Enchanted Wood, we're doing picture books as we have done for the last kind of couple of weekends. So I've got Molly with me. Do a little wave, Mol. There we go. So we've got 3 stories today. We've got a special one today. We've got last weekend was almost a Tom Percival weekend, so we've got one more Tom Percival this weekend. Ruby's Worry. So we're doing Ruby's Worry. We've got a couple of weekends ago we did a book called The Bog Baby. This is another one by the same lady, Jean Willis, called Stardust. Not sure you even know this one actually.
Yeah, I do.
You know this one? And the third one we're going to do, this is extra special, the third one we're going to do has been written by my friend Sue. A special one, not in celebration of, that's the wrong word, in kind of perhaps in recognition of the lockdown. So it's a special. She's written a Topsy and Tim adventure called Topsy and Tim in Lockdown, which I've got to read from my PC. So rather than poor Molly having to just have a picture of me reading from a laptop, we're gonna show you pictures of where we live, because we live in a beautiful town called Bradford Haven. So while I'm reading that, Molly's gonna scroll through this book, and you can see some lovely pictures of Bradford Haven. But let us start with which one first?
Ruby's Worry.
Ruby's Worry first. Okay, let's move the laptop. Shift all of those over there. We should have bought a drink out. Is that your drink or Mummy's?
Mummy's.
Right, let's start with. So, Ruby's Worry by Tom Percival. What did we have last? We had Perfectly Norman last weekend and Ravi's Raw. So, Ruby's Worry. Ruby loved being Ruby. She loved to swing up high. And she loved to explore wild, faraway places. Sometimes she even went all the way to the very bottom of the garden. Ruby was perfectly happy until one day she discovered a worry. It wasn't a very big worry. In fact, it was so small that at first Ruby hardly noticed it. But then the worry started to grow, and each day it got a little bigger. It just wouldn't leave her alone. It was there at breakfast, staring at her over the cereal box. And it was still there at night, when she cleaned her teeth. The funny thing was that no one else could see Ruby's worry, not even her teacher. So Ruby pretended that she couldn't see it either. She tried to carry on as if everything was normal, but it just wasn't. The worry was always there, stopping her from doing the things that she loved. Ruby wondered if the worry would ever go away. What if it didn't? What if it stayed with her forever? Ruby didn't realise that she was doing the worst thing you could ever do with a worry. She was worrying about it. Now the worry was enormous. It could barely fit in the kitchen at tea time. It filled up half of the school bus. And it took up whole rows at the cinema. The worry became the only thing that Ruby could think about, and it seemed like she would never feel happy again. Then, one day, something unexpected happened. Ruby noticed a boy sitting alone at the park. He looked how she felt, sad. And then she noticed something else, something hovering next to him. Could it be a worry? It was. Ruby realised that she wasn't the only person with a worry after all. Other people had them too. She asked the boy what was on his mind, and as he told her, the strangest thing happened. His worry began to shrink. Then Ruby did the best thing you can ever do if you have a worry. She talked about it. As the words tumbled out, Ruby's worry began to shrink until it was barely there at all. And soon, both of their worries were gone.
That boy looks like Norman from Perfectly Normal.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah. Finally, Ruby felt like herself again. Of course, that wasn't the last time that she ever had a worry. Everyone gets them from time to time. But now that she knew how to get rid of them, they never hung around for long. And there it goes, the worry. Oh, there's an advert for Perfectly Normal. Nice book, that one. I think there's lots of worries about at the moment, aren't there? So that's what we've got to do, talk about them. Right, next one. Stardust. Like we say, we had Bog Baby. We've got a few gene with us, actually. The King of... I can't remember what it is. The King of something. King of... Not the King of Wishful Thinking, that's an old song. The King of something. But Stardust, this one. Again, nice pictures. When I was small, I wanted to be a star. My sister was a star. Everybody said so, but nobody said it to me. Mum lost her wedding ring. I looked for it everywhere, but my sister found it. Mum said she was a star, and so did Dad. Nana showed us how to knit. The scarf I made for Grandad was full of holes, but the scarf my sister made for Nana wasn't. It's perfect. You little star, said Nana. We entered the fancy dress competition. Grandad said my costume was amazing. He said I might win, but I didn't. My sister won the star prize. Grandad dried my eyes. Later, Grandad found me gazing up at the sky. There were thousands of stars. I made a wish. I wished I was a star. And Grandad said, "You are." Then he told me this story. Once upon a time, there was nothing. No sun, no moon, no world, no trees, no creatures, just darkness. But then, bang, twinkle, twinkle, the first star was born. Then another, and another, and another, until there were billions of stars that were brilliant and beautiful. And there were planets too, with moons and mountains. Seas. And trees, flowers and animals, birds and butterflies. Big sisters and little sisters. Everything and everyone is made of stardust, said Grandad. That's why even the dullest stones sparkle and shine after the rain. Will I ever sparkle? I said. Will I ever shine? You already do, Grandad replied. Your sister isn't the only star in the universe. Remember what you're made of. You shine in different ways. I did remember. And I did shine. Shine in your own way, because remember, you're made of stardust too. It's a nice book. It's lovely pictures, that, isn't it? It's a nice story to remind everyone that they're special.
Yeah.
These are good stories today. All about not worrying and sharing your worries and remembering that you're special. Right, this next one, like I say, I'm gonna read it, but that would be very dull. Read me, you just taking a picture of me while I'm reading from my laptop. So I thought
What
it
am I
would be
doing?
nice. So I thought it would be nice if you perhaps just flick through this book and show the people the town where we live. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's some nice. That's a lovely picture down by the bridge,
Yeah.
isn't it? So let me. The machine had timed out. So this is a story, like I say. I think it's going to be the first part of a story. So it's left open at the end. So I think I might have to try and persuade Sue, if that's okay, Auntie Sue. If Auntie Sue can perhaps, I think it's a bit of a tall order to maybe do a weekly one, but you see, I think it's left nice and open that it could be followed up if Auntie Susan is happy to write them. Okay, so Topsy and Tim in lockdown. Topsy and Tim were home from school, just as all the country were in lockdown, to help prevent the spread of a virus. Their mum and dad were also working from home too. Every morning, Topsy and Tim got ready to go to school, just as they used to, except they didn't need to walk to school. Their mum thought it was a good idea to keep a routine. Sometimes they liked to wear their school cardigans and jumpers because they loved the colour of them. "Is it all set up ready?" Topsy excitedly asked Mum. "It's not quite 9 o'clock yet," she replied. Tim shouted, pretending to be Spider-Man launching a web from his web shooter. They were waiting for Joe, the body coach, who was streaming live on YouTube, carrying out PE lessons. They had so much fun and felt energised for the day ahead. They then sat down ready to do their schoolwork at the table. "Let's do some math sums first," suggested Mum, "while your brain is awake." "Don't forget we have break time, Mum," pleaded Tim. "Good idea. We can eat a snack too." Topsy was always looking for food when she'd done a lot of thinking. They then decided they would complete the English exercise the teacher had set them after break. Their mum helped them with their work, and both Topsy and Tim took turns at acting as being a teacher. This bit made me laugh. This is Auntie Sue. Me and Auntie Sue used to work together, so this bit is a nod to us working together. They used an old 1993 desktop presenter style flip chart, which was once used by their mum for in-branch training work. They even used the flip chart markers that hadn't dried out in all the years that they'd been stored. Who knew? Once they'd finished all their set work, it was usually lunchtime, and as the weather had been glorious, they would play in their back garden. Tim would bounce on the trampoline, and Topsy enjoyed her bar, which were both presents from Mum and Dad for their birthdays. This gave Mum or Dad time to make their lunches. The afternoons were spent more creatively, painting, cooking and gardening, all linked to learning and trying new skills. Some days they would even help with the cleaning, so they would remember the importance of hygiene and destroying the virus and the germs, singing their hearts out whilst washing their hands thoroughly. "I'll use the Dyson," Tim jumped in eagerly. Tim liked to zoom around, pretending to be a Formula One racing driver. "Oh, that's not fair," huffed Topsy, who also liked chicaning around the furniture, as if she wanted to be a rally driver. "You can share the rooms," Mum pointed out. Every day before the end of their home school day, they would listen to a story on the internet. This was a special story called The Enchanted Wood by the author Enid Blyton that was read to them by their mum and dad's friend and his two daughters, who helped turn the pages or read, which was enjoyed equally. Their favourite character was Moonface, who was brought to life with a calming, soothing, friendly voice. After they ate their tea, Mum brought out a game they'd not seen before. It was in a little box and it was called Frustration. It looked exciting with a pop-o-matic dice. Click, pop, went the clear button as Tim pressed it to see the dice roll. Tim and his soft toy dog played against Topsy and her teddy. Dad brought them their favourite bottle of drink along with their mason jar glasses with straws and a bowl of popcorn. "Don't drink it all today, save some for tomorrow, as it's a big bottle," explained Dad. It was time for bed. "Oh," they both moaned, "but nobody's won, it's a draw." "You can both play a decider tomorrow to see who wins," said Dad with anticipation. They tidied the game away. "I'll put the bottle back in the kitchen for tomorrow," Tim said helpfully. Tim also carried back the bowl that had the popcorn in. "Oh," thought Tim. He was lucky there was a few kernels of popcorn left. "I'll just finish those off," he smiled to himself. However, they didn't have much toffee coating on the pieces, and a small bit got stuck in the back of his throat. His mouth was dry and he couldn't swallow it, so he took a swig from the bottle. Then he drank some more until he eventually shifted it, and his throat was cleared. Uh-oh. He looked at the empty bottle and panicked. This was meant for tomorrow as well, he realised. So he hid the now empty bottle in Topsy's room. The morning came and Topsy got out of bed, but her foot accidentally knocked something hard poking from underneath her bed. "Ow!" she cried as she stubbed her toe on it. She pulled out a bottle, an empty bottle. She patted the carpet and it felt dry. She was confused as they didn't drink it all last night. Or had they? Dun, 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 dun. So it's even written, dun, 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 dun. To be continued. So we're going to have to see if we can persuade Auntie Sue to write the next chapter, so we can have it this time next week. So have you been showing pictures of Bradford Avon? Yeah.
Yeah.
A pint of beer. Oh, the Iron Duke. That's just down from where we live, isn't it? That's about a minute away from where we live. It's an old press from the factory that used to be on the site where
Tennis
our
ball.
house is built. Yeah. Okay. Shall we say ta-ta to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll be back. Me and Molly will be back tomorrow for 3 more picture books. And possibly an Easter egg, because it's have we got any Easter type
Is it
books?
Emily tomorrow?
No, it's you. Picture books are you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if we've got any Easter books. We'll have a look and see if we've got any Easter books we can read. If not, we'll just pick some favourite picture books. But we've got our family quiz with all our family across the various houses in half an hour. So we will say TTFN now.
Is that actually today? I thought it was
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's normally Sundays, but we're having it today.
Oh. We changed it to Saturday on my birthday. Too.
Yes, and we changed it today because I think people are a bit busy tomorrow with other things. Okay, right. TTFN to everybody. Have a smashing Saturday. If you've got eggs around the house, get scoffing them. Enjoy. And we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.